Beyoncé couldn't get pregnant, not naturally. What I do know is this. Beyoncé got on that stage with that fake baby bump. It was lined up with the same timing of where Cathy White would have been in her second trimester. The timeline of when she delivered Blue Ivy lines up almost perfect with the timeline of when Cathy White would have delivered. We all know that Blue Ivy came from a surrogate. They shut that hospital down like a president had just been. And parents who had just had children themselves weren't even allowed to see their own kids for 24 hours because of the security that was locking that whole thing down.
$1.3 million is alleged that Beyoncé and Jay-Z, the Carters, paid this hospital to have the right.
It's now being whispered that Blue Ivy might have been the very child Jay's late mistress, Cathy White, was pregnant with before her untimely death. The streets have been buzzing with this theory for years, but the whispers exploded when Jaguar Wright straight up accused Beyoncé of having a hand in Cathy's downfall. The claim is wild. Not only did Beyoncé allegedly push Jay to handle Cathy, but she also made sure that unborn child didn't just disappear. It became Blue Ivy.
Must have been a fake baby bump, visually collapsed as she sat down. I admit, that did look weird, but maybe it was a weird camera angle. Or maybe she wears extra padding to keep her due date a secret. And yes, maybe Beyoncé isn't actually pregnant.
Allegedly, Beyoncé faked her whole pregnancy while Cathy was the one actually carrying the baby. Then, once Cathy was gone, suddenly Beyoncé popped up in the media with her belly reveal and miracle birth storyline, flooding blogs with the narrative that she finally had her baby. And now comes the twist nobody saw coming. Katt Williams, of all people, is backing up Jaguar Wright's story.
If it's what you truly want, I can wear her skin over mine. Her hair over mine. Her hands as gloves. Her teeth as confetti. Her scalp a cap. Her sternum my bedazzled cane. We can pose for a photograph. All three of us. Immortalized. You and your perfect girl.
Everybody had pretty much buried this scandal in the back of their minds until Beyoncé shook the table with her album Cowboy Carter. That record had a track called Daughter, and people swear it was her confession track, hinting at Cathy White's mysterious death. The theory? Beyoncé allegedly admitted to taking out her man's mistress and even hinted that Jay was right there helping cover it up. Fans are convinced the song's very title is a sly nod to Blue Ivy, who many still believe was the child Cathy was carrying before she died. And the lyrics? They had people clutching their pearls. Beyoncé saying, "Your body laid out on these filthy floors. Your bloodstains on my custom couture bathroom attendant. Let me right in, she was a big fan. I really tried to stay cool, but your arrogance disturbed my solitude. Now I ripped your dress and you're all black and blue. Look what you made me do." They keep saying that I ain't nothing like my father, but I'm the furthest thing from choir boys and altars. If you cross me, I'm just like my father. I'm colder than Titanic water.
It was taken unfairly. She actually died screaming, and the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think? And maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand, see? I mean, I'm just speculating.
Now tell me, does that sound like just art or a straight-up murder confession wrapped in a beat? Some folks brushed it off as fiction, but plenty of others said the details were way too specific to be coincidence. When Cathy White first passed, the official story was that she died from a sudden brain aneurysm. But the deeper folks dug, the less it made sense. Let's take it back to August 28, 2011, the night Beyoncé proudly revealed her pregnancy bump live on stage at the MTV VMAs. The crowd cheered, but for many, That moment was the start of a timeline that doesn't sit right even today. According to reports, Beyoncé gave birth to Blue Ivy on January 12, 2012. But here's where it gets messy. Cathy was also said to be pregnant around that very same time. And just days before Beyoncé's supposed due date, Cathy was mysteriously found dead in her own home. Suspicious, right? Then, out of nowhere, right at the top of the new year, Beyoncé drops the bomb that Blue Ivy had officially arrived. This is why so many people still refuse to believe Beyoncé was ever truly pregnant. Instead, they claim Cathy was the real surrogate, carrying the child until her untimely passing. And when the dust settled, Beyoncé stepped out as if the baby had been hers all along, leaving the world to question whether Blue's birth was a miracle or a carefully planned cover-up.
Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Cathy White.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died of an imaginary fucking aneurysm. Just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the fuck was these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is fucking you. And the boss's boss don't get no Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the fuck you go when you get over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go nowhere, which is where people like me step in. You right, I go to Diddy parties to walk mother out, cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come. You, Sean.
Hey, man.
Weirdo.
Oof.
I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have did a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Cathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. You're protecting her. Wonder why?
Here's the thing about surrogacy, especially gestational surrogacy. The surrogate only carries the embryo, but the child isn't genetically related to her at all. The embryo is made from the egg and sperm of the intended parents, meaning the baby still carries both their DNA, just not the surrogates. That's exactly why people say Blue Ivy looks just like Beyoncé and Jay-Z, even though rumors claim Beyoncé never actually carried her. And this is where it gets even wilder. A video once surfaced of Beyoncé's baby bump literally folding in as she sat down for an interview. Like, how many pregnant women have you ever seen with bellies that collapse like that? Fans saw it as proof that something wasn't right, sparking endless theories that she was rocking a prosthetic bump while someone else was carrying the child for her. And then came the darkest rumor of them all, that once Cathy delivered the baby, Beyoncé allegedly made sure she never got the chance to go back to Jay. The whispers say Beyoncé feared Cathy would slide right back into Jay's arms, so she handled the situation permanently. And let's be real, with Cathy gone, there's zero chance of her ever stepping forward to expose Beyoncé. That alone had people side-eyeing the whole situation. But here's where it gets even crazier. Reports claim Beyoncé and Jay dropped over $1.3 million just to shut down an entire hospital floor when Blue Ivy was born. Now ask yourself, is that level of secrecy really necessary for a normal birth? Unless, of course, something was going down that the public was never supposed to see. And then comes one of the most twisted receipts people dig up. Beyoncé's own lyrics. Fans point straight to her song Anger, where she spits out a dark, haunting verse that gave people chills. She literally describes doing whatever it takes to keep her man locked down, even if it means wearing the skin and hair of his dead mistress. Like, that's not just a bar, that's straight up disturbing. Listen to this: I'd do anything, even wear the skin and hair of my husband's deceased lover, if that's what it takes to keep him mine forever. Now tell me, does that sound like just art or a confession dressed up as poetry? In a bombshell twist, a now-deleted article from Hollywood Street King claimed they had direct words from an NYPD officer tied to Cathy White's case, and what he said flips the whole story upside down. According to him, Cathy's death was never about a brain aneurysm. Nope, he flat out said it was being treated as a homicide. The article opened with, "Yesterday, I got the news that Cathy Michelle White had suddenly passed away. So I quickly began my investigation, and guess what? Cathy did not die from a brain aneurysm, as widely reported across the internet today. According to an NYPD detective, Cathy's cause of death is uncertain. Later today, we'll have the autopsy and toxicology reports. Right now, the death is considered suspicious." And it didn't stop there. The piece added that a 911 call came in from an apartment on West 19th Street in Manhattan, reporting that Cathy had fallen severely ill. Paramedics rushed her to Beth Israel Hospital, but she never made it out alive. The detective allegedly told Hollywood Street King, "It's too early to be calling it an aneurysm. We'll be doing an autopsy today to determine the cause of death. Someone might have given Cathy something bad, so a toxicology test is being run, and we'll have to wait 2 weeks for that report." Just 2 weeks before her death, Cathy reportedly got a call from a major tabloid digging into her alleged ties with Jay-Z. At first, she didn't give them much, but according to insiders, she later phoned Jay directly, warning him that she was ready to go public with their affair if the price was right. That was the last straw, and the timing couldn't have been more suspicious. Because barely 48 hours after Beyoncé made headlines by announcing she was pregnant with Jay's child, Cathy suddenly turned up dead under mysterious circumstances. People couldn't believe the coincidence. One woman stepping into the spotlight as the wife, while the other vanished forever. But it didn't stop there. Jaguar Wright came back for another explosive interview, dropping even more shocking claims. She doubled down, saying Beyoncé not only faked her pregnancy, but also stole Cathy's unborn baby, allegedly Blue Ivy, right out of her womb before Cathy was silenced for good. And then comes journalist Liz Crokin, a name that made the whole situation even messier. Liz openly accused Jay-Z of being connected to Cathy White's death, and she wasn't just speculating. She claimed she had been preparing to sit down with Cathy for an exclusive tell-all about her alleged affair with Jay. But days before that interview could happen, Cathy was gone. Liz didn't hold back either. In one fiery statement, she said, "When Kanye West says Jay-Z has murder, I believe he's talking about Cathy White. I was the reporter scheduled to talk with your alleged mistress right before she died, and that interview was wiped. I know everything. I know what you did. Go fuck yourself. Your time is coming. Maybe you and Diddy can share a prison cell together. Justice is coming." And she didn't stop there. Liz warned, "It's only a matter of time before Spirit Cooking and Jay-Z are exposed like Diddy. There's a reason Kanye said Jay's got blood on his hands. I would know. He's evil to the core. I pray there will be justice for Cathy White. One day the false idols will keep falling. Mark my words." Now, when it comes to Katt Williams, word in the industry is he hasn't fully aired Jay and Bey out on this matter. Not because he doesn't know, but because he's playing it smart. Insiders claim he doesn't want to risk the kind of heavy lawsuits that Beyoncé and Jay allegedly tried to hit Jaguar Wright with after she brought these same claims to Piers Morgan's show. But here's the kicker. Katt allegedly still stands firm on the belief that Blue Ivy isn't Beyoncé's biological child. And it's not just him. Plenty of people online back up the theory and drag Beyoncé for allegedly stealing Blue from Cathy. One person wrote, "If Blue was born January 7th, that means when Beyoncé announced her pregnancy, she would have been about 4 months along. No way her stomach should have been that big at the VMAs." Another person jumped in saying, "I remember seeing all this talk back in 2017 about that deflated baby bump. I didn't want to believe it, had to delete it from my feed, and yet here we are again." So now the whispers are louder than ever. Did Beyoncé and Jay really orchestrate Cathy's death and secretly take her unborn child? Or is this just another internet conspiracy spiraling out of control? Either way, the timeline, the secrecy, and the stories from insiders have people convinced there's way more to this than meets the eye. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think about Katt exposing Bey and Jay for allegedly being tied to Cathy's tragic death? And do you really believe Blue Ivy could be a surrogate baby? Drop your thoughts and comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.